You've applied for permanent residence or you already have your green card. You've tried to do everything lawfully and the correct way. Well, here are 3 uncommon ways where you can actually lose your immigration status and end up getting deported. I have seen situations where people have accidentally registered to vote, whether it's when they applied for a driver's license at the DMV, they checked a box, or they were automatically registered to vote through the way that their state's DMV works. Sometimes people in like a high school class all register to vote as a part of some sort of civics class. This is actually a huge problem. If you don't have immigration status or you're a green card holder, you can't register to vote. You have to be a US citizen, and this can actually create huge problems. Sometimes it's fixable if we withdraw your registration, but if you've actually voted, that could be a huge unfixable problem. So this is definitely something to look out for, especially if you're applying for a driver's license or some sort of state benefit, which may automatically register you to vote. The second way that people end up in deportation proceedings without even knowing that they did something wrong is by failing to properly remove the conditions on their residency. When you get a conditional green card, it expires in 2 years and you need to apply to remove those conditions or you will automatically lose your status and end up in removal proceedings. But sometimes it could be a little more complicated than that. Sometimes USCIS makes a mistake and issues you a permanent green card even though your status should have been conditional. And we don't learn that your status was messed up until you apply for citizenship and end up in deportation proceedings. So this is a huge problem I've seen happen, and it's definitely something you want to discuss with your immigration lawyer when you get a green card, and you want to make sure that your green card is not conditional. The third way that I see people accidentally lose their green card or end up in deportation proceedings is through abandonment of their residency. So I've seen this happen in 2 different ways. The first easy way, which you can be deemed to abandon your residency, is if you leave the United States for 1 year as a resident and try to come back. When you get to the airport, Customs and Border Protection is going to give you a very hard time, and they might place you into deportation proceedings or even try to get you to sign a voluntary abandonment of residency form. That's not a great situation to be in. A more common situation that I see is where somebody leaves for less than 6 months at a time, because you're generally allowed to depart for up to 6 months with the residency card, but they do it too frequently, and it doesn't look like they're permanently living in the United States. Let me give you an example. Some guy is in the US for 1 month and leaves to go to their home country for 5 months. Then they come back for another month or 2, and then they leave for another 5 months. You know, if they do this 3 or 4 times, eventually when they enter the United States, Customs and Border Protection is going to say, hey, you spent 90% of the last 2 years in your home country. We don't believe you're living in the United States or working in the United States. We want to see way more documentation from you. Where are you receiving your mail? Where do you receive your income? It's going to turn into like a hostile interview, and it could actually result in you being placed into removal proceedings. There are a million ways that you can end up getting deported. Don't go and tell somebody that there are only 3 ways after you saw my video. I mean, crimes and fraud are obvious ways that most people know about. In this video, I tried to describe some common ways that people don't know about, so you can use this information to help plan for your future. If you have questions about the topic I discussed, put them in the comments below. I really try my best to answer every question. If you're new to this channel, just know that immigration law is all we do and it's all I talk about. And I post videos weekly, and I'll see you guys next week for another video.